NASA is considering closing its Washington, D.C. headquarters as part of Trump's initiative to reduce the size of the federal government. FBI agents are pulling 12-hour shifts overnight to redact Epstein files ahead of their release by the DOJ. Pope Francis set to make his first public appearance after being discharged from the hospital. Leading American scientists warned that COVID mRNA vaccines can trigger acquired hemophilia, a deadly autoimmune disorder, according to George Washington University study. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has launched an online tool for users to check chemical contaminants in food and other products. Hunter Biden is still receiving U.S. taxpayer protection while vacationing in South Africa, with the State Department covering the cost of his security and vehicles, despite President Trump's revoking his security detail. Who's running the show? A fire had broken out inside of a theme park at Walt Disney World in Florida. Zelensky is demanding Ukraine's NATO membership, warning that without it, Europe will be forced to provide indefinite financial support. I don't think so. An entire movie theater was empty for Disney's new Snow White remake. I guess it's not that popular. Well, good morning, Ted Heads, and good morning, friends. And welcome to another impactful broadcast of Ted Speaks Truth. Today, we're diving into the concept that has been a cornerstone of our legal and financial systems for centuries, the power of possession. Now, some of you might be familiar with the saying, possession is 9/10 of the law, but let's take a moment to reflect on just how powerful that concept truly is, especially in the context of wealth, currency, and security. Possession is 9/10 of the law. What does that mean? Simply put, it emphasizes that person who possesses something is generally the one who has legal control or ownership of it. Think about it. When you buy something, be it a car, a house, or anything of value, the legal title or the paper trail is important. But the fact that you physically hold and use that item is what makes it truly yours. Ownership comes down to who controls the asset. If you don't hold it, how can you truly claim it? Now, let's apply this idea to wealth, specifically to wealth we've been talking about here at TED Speaks. Precious metals, especially silver. You see, the concept of ownership in today's financial world has become blurred. It's no longer as clear as it once was, and here's why. You may have your wealth sitting in a bank account, maybe some stocks, bonds, or digital assets. On paper, they're yours. But in reality, if you don't physically hold those assets, who really owns them? A stock certificate or bond may show your name, but the reality is they exist only in digital form on a ledger. That's why we see people talking about QSIP numbers for stocks. These are identification numbers for financial securities. But at the end of the day, they're abstract, not tangible. They're digits on a screen, entries in a database. And if that database crashes or those systems fail, where's your ownership? Where's your wealth? Who really owns your wealth? Who does it belong to? Think about it for a minute. When we talk about a bail-in, a term that's used in the financial world, it's clear that your assets are at risk. The bank or institution holding your assets might decide it has the right to use your wealth in certain circumstances, like a bailout, to cover their own losses. When you don't physically hold your wealth, your claim to that wealth can be compromised. This is where coin of the realm becomes so significant. For centuries, precious metals like gold and silver were the backbone of money and wealth. For over the last few decades, the transition to fiat currencies, digital money, and abstract financial instruments we use today has caused us to lose sight of the fundamental truth. If you don't hold it, it really isn't yours. The importance of holding silver, gold, and tangible assets in your own direct possession cannot be overstated. These are not just collectibles, not investments. They're real wealth that you can touch, hold, and use. Silver is the coin of the realm, a timeless store of value that can't be manipulated or evaporated by digital shifts or institutional failures. When you hold physical silver in your hands, you have direct, unencumbered ownership. It cannot be taken by a bank. It cannot be devalued by printing more paper currency. And it cannot be canceled by some regulatory body or central authority. That's true ownership. The modern financial world may tell you that your wealth is secure in digital assets or bank accounts, but history has shown us over and over, time and again, that these systems are fragile. Whether it's the collapse of a bank, the introduction of negative interest rates, or digital security breach, your wealth can disappear in an instant if it's not in your hands. This brings us to the critical question. How does this impact your wealth? The answer is so simple but profound. By taking possession of your wealth in the form of silver, coin of the realm, or other precious metals, you are putting control back into your own hands. You're insulating yourself from the fragility of the current financial system. Silver isn't just an investment. It's your hedge against uncertainty. It's your safeguard against the inevitable inflation and economic turmoil that's lurking just around the corner. And if you hold that silver yourself, it's yours, truly and completely. No bank, no government, no corporation can take it from you. So as we go through today's broadcast, I encourage you to think about with the true power of possession. Ask yourself, where is your wealth? Who truly owns it? And if you don't hold it, how secure is it really? Remember, you have a choice. The financial world has been designed to keep you in the system, relying on digital representations of wealth. But the real wealth is tangible, and it's waiting for you to claim it. The coin of the realm is still silver, and if you hold it in your hands, it's yours, no questions asked. Let's reclaim ownership of our wealth together, and let's safeguard our futures together. Let's take back control, one silver coin at a time. Thank you for joining us today. Let's make this a pivotal moment in our journey towards financial security. Stay tuned, stay in control, let's stay together. Knowledge is the key that unlocks all doors. Dr. Ben Carson. The radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker and agitator who was sadly appointed by President Barack Hussein Obama, was not elected president. He didn't win popular vote by a lot. He didn't win all 7 swing states. He didn't win 2,750 of the 525 counties. He didn't win anything. Won for many reasons in an overwhelming mandate, but fighting illegal immigration may have been the number one reason for the historic victory. I'm just doing what the voters wanted me to do. The judge, like many of the crooked judges I'm forced to appear before, should be impeached. We don't want vicious, violent, and demented criminals, many of them deranged murderers in our country. Let's make America great again.
It was another very busy week here at the Trump White House. Here are the facts. President Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act to deport illegal migrant foreign terrorists and Tren de Aragua members to El Salvador. President Trump also launched decisive and powerful military action against Houthi terrorist bases in Yemen. Companies like Boeing, Johnson & Johnson, and NVIDIA announced billions of dollars in new investments in America, which will bring thousands of new jobs to communities like yours across the country. President signed an executive order aimed at dismantling the Department of Education after decades of declining academic performance despite trillions of dollars being spent on this federal agency. NASA astronauts who were abandoned by the Biden administration were finally brought home safely thanks to President Trump and Elon Musk. President Trump also delivered on his promise to release the JFK files with no redactions for the American public's consumption. And President Trump became the first sitting president in history to address a crypto conference. And last but certainly not least, egg prices have officially fallen more than 50% since President Trump took office. Gas prices have declined nationally for the 4th straight week in a row, and we are on our way to renewing the American dream. We are not tired of winning yet. We'll see you for next.
This is rather interesting. Just got a text from Brett over there at Golden Eagle Coin. Apparently, the state of Maryland is looking to put taxes on the sale of bullion here in the United States. They're going to tax the sale of money. I say, no. We're not going to do that. What we want to do is let's examine where the tax revenue is currently going. Let's do a Doge in the state of Maryland. More importantly, let's take a closer Doge look at the individuals that are sponsoring this cockamamie bill. No, let's take a look at where the current tax flow is currently going, as opposed to adding any new. So if you guys want to help us out, this is what you need to do. Go to Stop the Bullion Tax, okay? All right. And starting Monday, they set it up. They've asked us for our help. So if you're out there and you're listening, please go to, as of tomorrow, go to Stop the Bullion Tax, set up by Golden Eagle Coin at this website here, and tell them you don't want them taxing the sale of our money. That's enough. That's not it. Don has initiated an investigation incorporating polygraph tests to hunt down leakers after Elon Musk called for the prosecution of any Defense Department officials spreading maliciously false information about his dealings with the military. In response to accusations surrounding Musk's recent visit to the Pentagon, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Chief of Staff Joe Casper called for an investigation into unauthorized disclosures of national security information, with those found to be responsible for to be referred to the appropriate criminal law enforcement entity for criminal prosecution. And Hegseth makes a major Doge cuts at the DOD. Let's cut. What is FMCS? The Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service is an independent U.S. government agency that provides mediation and conflict resolution services to help resolve labor management disputes, aiming to prevent or minimize work stoppages and promote effective collective bargaining. That's where your taxpayers are going. But guess what? They just celebrated their 75th anniversary. This crap's been going on too long. Maybe that's why he's so upset.